Hi, this is Kathy Jackson Fong of kathyjacksonfong.com, and today I'm bringing you another summary review of one of the interviews that was conducted as part of the My Lead System Pro Virtual Summit of 2017. Today I'll be reviewing the interview that Norbert Orlewicz conducted with Doug Firebaugh. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is, well, I can learn a lot from all of these interviews, and I plan to apply it to my business. I thought that it would benefit everybody to hear a brief review of the interviews. I have to tell you, each of the interviews was an hour at least, and I'm not going to be doing a live that is quite that long, so you may miss some details. But you can contact me to get access to the full recordings if you want. And the other thing is that the summit interviewed 40 of the leading network marketing industry leaders in attraction marketing. And all of them had a lot of useful information. So I hope you get a lot out of this discussion today. I'll be referring to my notes as we go through this. So you may see me looking away or looking at notes. So Doug Firebaugh has been in the industry for 25 years. He's developed several training packages for network marketers. And he's the founder and president of the Home Business Radio Network, where you can learn a lot of information as well. In the course of the interview, Doug and Norbert Orlewicz discussed several factors. One of them was how to create momentum with your business. Another one was what you should consider when you're picking a company, how to go about branding yourself, some of the factors that you need to think about. And they talked about traits that are needed to become a leader. And also the fifth one was advice from Doug on how to grow a business. The interview started out really interesting, and it's something I hadn't really thought of, but Doug made a good point. He said, if you want to become successful in this business, one of the things that you can do is look at leaders either within your company or within the industry, and then do what they're doing, but try and do more of it so that you can also get to the top. Obviously, this isn't going to occur overnight, but it's a good thought to aim for. So the first topic was how to create momentum and build a successful organization. And Doug distinguishes between recruiting and having an organization. And he said one of the problems that network marketers run into is they will build a very large organization, and then they get to the point where they feel successful and they've got a secure downline, and then they stop the recruiting process and they stop doing the activities that are needed to be done by leaders. And what happens is the people who are below you are watching what you are doing and they're emulating what you are doing. So if you stop recruiting and you stop producing content and you stop doing all the activities of a leader, then your downline is going to start shrinking and you'll lose your momentum. So you always want to be in a growth factor. And basically what these people are doing is they're focusing on building a downline, but they're not making sure that the line is concrete and dependable and that it will be there for the duration. And there's a big factor between doing that, which is recruiting, as opposed to becoming a leader. And one of the dangers is that some of these people are building their business based on their personality and not the systems that are available to help people to also become successful, because that is why people get into your downline. Sure, some of them might want to join your downline just for the sake of getting the products cheaper, but the potential is there for them to grow, and you have to support that. And the fourth factor, which I thought was very interesting, was Doug discriminated between replicating, duplicating, and multiplicating. And he said that replicating is just showing people what to do. Here's something, follow it, you can do it. the people who can duplicate success are the people who will show their downline how to do these things. And then when you get into the multiplication situation, that's when you're showing your downline how to achieve their goals, and make sure that it's their goals and not what you want for them, because they are going to need their goals in order to be successful and to sustain the effort that's needed in this market. So basically what Doug was saying is that it's all people driven. You have to focus on people and showing them how to get results and achieving their own goals. And once they can meet their expectations, that's when the commitment gets there and it gets solidified. The next topic, which they talked about, was how you go about picking a company. And Doug had an interesting comment, which I, to be honest, haven't really paid a lot of attention when I was looking at companies, but he said you need to look at the people who are involved, what their background is, what their successes are, what their approach is. Unfortunately, the industry's gotten a bit of a negative reputation, because there are some CEOs who create these companies and they have an exit strategy in mind. They plan to build the company to a certain extent, and often this is based on their personality, their charisma, their history. But at a certain point, they want to be able to walk away. And that's very damaging to the industry, because a lot of people go into these companies expecting long-term growth, and their livelihood depends on it. And if you're doing this to, provide travel for your family or pay for your children's education, you don't want it to all just disappear on you because somebody hasn't really cared. And then the other thing that they talked about was the approach of the company. There are two approaches. One is the company is all based upon its products, the reputation of the products, the quality of the products. We've all heard of network marketing industries that have been out there for many, many years. I won't mention them, but you can probably think of a few right off the top of your head. And these are the products, these are the companies that are going to have longevity because they have a reputation, they can sustain it, they can provide value to their customers, which is what the whole industry should be based on. The other type of company is ones that are based on recruiting. Get a lot of people in, the bigger your downline, the more money you have, but how do you sustain it if there's no strong, solid products that people want to buy and continue ordering? And that's really what you need. And he's, the companies that are based on promotion and recruiting are ones that can get you a paycheck. But as Doug said, the ones that are based on products are the ones that can make you wealthy. So, you have to decide what you're going for when you pick a company. And he said, Doug said that the industry is all about social duty and responsibility. It's not about social media and whether it came from Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It's all about, are you being a responsible marketer? Are you helping people? Are you providing value? And that's where you'll get your success. The next topic that they talked about is, how do you get yourself known in the industry? How do you brand yourself? And I really appreciated the example that Norbert Orlewicz used. He said, it's all about content creation and providing value to your prospects. And he said he compares it to creating the small bits of content are like little fish hooks. You put them out a little bit at a time, and then you just leave them there like you're fishing in a lake. And you're going to eventually get people who will nibble on it. They'll go into your niche. They'll be in your lake, and they want to see what it's about, and they'll start looking for more of the fish hooks. And what you need to do when you're doing this is to be constantly consistent. People who, will madly produce content for about 3 months and then, take the summer off, take the winter off, depending on what they want to do, and then come back to it, they've lost their audience. The audience has gone somewhere else in the meantime. And then Doug said, when you're creating content, you need to think of, what do you want to be remembered for? You need to think of how you want people to feel when they think about you. Do they know that they can depend on you, that you're always there, you have good quality content, you over-deliver, which is something that My Lead System Pro and several other companies are their philosophy. They over-deliver, so you're getting value for what you pay. And the last one was, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to sign up for a webinar? Do you want them to order an ebook? Think of those things when you're developing your content so that you can have consistent and strong messages. And the whole goal of this is, it's not just enough to be remembered. You want to be unforgettable. So when somebody thinks of the industry, they think of you. And then when they're looking for something, they go to you to see if you have it first, which is an important feature to have. And the fourth topic is, they talked about the traits to become a leader in the industry. And there are several traits. We can all think of them off the top of our hand. Your corporate entity, the clarity of your messages, your ability to influence and persuade people to follow you, those types of factors. But Doug had an interesting concept that I hadn't heard of. And he said, basically what you want to do is you want to become a mobilizing energy. You want to have fire and passion in your heart and deliver it and get that message across to people. Because what you want them to do is pick up on your passion and your energy and want them to do the same thing. And they'll be following you and looking for that. And Doug did acknowledge that for people who are starting out in the industry, such as myself, it can be very intimidating to try and have that impact on people. I hope I am. But it can be exhilarating at the same time when people start following you and reading your material and reinforcing your behavior. So try to keep that in mind when you're presenting your material and creating your content. It has to be something that you're passionate about. If you're not passionate about something, it's very difficult to sustain yourself, because there's a lot to do in this industry. There's a lot to learn, and there are challenges to be faced. And if you don't have that excitement and passion, you will be one of the people who will drop by the wayside. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And then the last topic that they talked about was, how do you grow your business? You're starting out, you've got a few people. And Doug said the first thing you have to have done is you have to have made the decision to do this work from your heart. You want to be able to excite people and be sincere about what you're doing. And the second factor he said, which is, I had not heard of the exact statistic, but he said, it's all a process of educating yourself. And Doug said that the people who are successful read 14 times more books and watch 14 times more videos, which is a lot of material, than the average person. And that's where you will get your growth, from learning things, exposing yourself to new experiences, new techniques, new skills. It's all about becoming a better marketer. And then the last, and with that knowledge and growth, you can be more confident. You can have more posture when you're talking to people, because you know what you're talking about. And that is very important in building a following. And then the last point is to remember, always be of service to people. You want to provide them with value before you get your profits. People aren't going to just buy from you for the sake of buying from you. You have to have given them something of value that they could depend on. And I believe that that was a fairly good summary of the interview. I hope you got a lot out of it. If you have any questions, or if you want to hear other survey interviews on this series, there will be more coming. Feel free to put a note in the comments below, and I will look at them and I will get back to you. I hope you enjoyed this. Talk to you soon.